Welcome back on to Kansas Sports Chatter. It's time now for our quality time interview. This segment, we get to talk to our next guest a little bit longer, and that guest we bring in Trey Teeter. He's the head coach of the Holcomb football team. Trey, appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And this is a pretty neat deal and excited to see where it goes from here. So thanks for inviting me on.
Well, I know you had a busy summer. You were just telling me that you had a pool day and you got thrown into a pool.
Yeah.
But beyond getting thrown into the pool with your team, how do you go about attacking the summer for your off season right before the season starts?
Yeah, summer, especially lately, the last few years has been a pretty hot topic amongst coaches and families and kids, and you're always fighting the battle of how much do you do, and you want them to have a summer as well, and so we really hammer trying to be here 85% of the time, and so we've always kind of said that if you show up to our summer program 85% of the time, we feel like your body is ready for the demands of the sport of football and whatever sport that you're involved in. I shouldn't just include football. We have good attendance numbers across the board for our fall sports. And so we averaged around 65 kids in June and about 55 in July. So June was probably one of our better June months. And then July typically always falls off just a little bit. And I think that's fairly normal for most of your schools in Kansas. You have fair go on, and, we have a lot of other things. Families take vacations. We had some kids go to different camps in July. And so it's just part of it. And you just got to keep encouraging kids to show up and be here when they're in town. And we're pretty fortunate that we probably live in Southwest Kansas. I know some people is not particularly fond of being out in Southwest Kansas because it stinks. We make a lot of money from the cows and stuff, but out here, there's not a whole lot for our kids to go do. You have to travel to Wichita to go play in, MAYB tournaments or baseball tournaments most of the time. And so we are pretty fortunate in that aspect that we have a lot of kids that show up to our summer strength conditioning program. And so we've had a really good summer, both male and female, high school, middle school, and hopefully we'll continue in the right trend for that as well.
I know you're looking forward to this upcoming season, but rewind to last November, a sub-state appearance. Like when you have success like that, do you notice maybe even an increased amount of excitement or enthusiasm going into the next year?
Yeah, 100%. We've talked quite a bit about how success will breed more success. And so we graduated a really nice senior class. We had a great group of kids, and it was a really nice mix of different personalities, and had some of the most unselfish kids that we've had in a while go through. And so really big credit to them. They led us in an appropriate manner. Probably some of the most wildest playoff games that I've ever been a part of. Rock Creek game, we were down 14. Pretty early in the game, and we had, I think, 7 offensive plays for like negative 12 yards in the first quarter. I mean, it was some of the wildest stuff that I've ever been a part of. We kind of had a walk-off pick 6 to finish the game. And so getting to play Andale, that's kind of been the pinnacle of 3A. If you get a chance to go play Andale and give them the best shot that you can. And so for us, that was where we ended up being. We were in a semifinal game, got to travel to Andale and played a fairly decent first quarter, and then the game kind of got out of hand. But in terms of excitement, we have some kids going back out for football who haven't played the last few years. So that's a positive thing. We have a real big freshman class. So our numbers in the football program have grown. We were around 40 last year, and we've checked out 55 kids this summer. So definitely, it's definitely exciting. And there's a level of, higher expectation, I suppose, that comes into this season, and a really neat experience for us last year.
All right, you mentioned those close games. That's one of the areas I wanted to talk about. Those 3 close games. You look at the 12-7 win against Marysville in that opening round, 21-14, like you mentioned, against Rock Creek, then that 10-7 victory against Scott City. I mean, when people are talking playoffs, Trey, that's what people want to see. Like, they want to see those crazy, really close games. What was it like for you on the sidelines, though, in a playoff scenario in just such a dogfight?
Yeah. So our staff, we have a lot of older coaches on our staff, man. And I kept asking them, we have been a part of some of the wildest games. Marysville, we had the ball inside the 10 there in the first quarter 3 different times, and we didn't score. We went for a 4th down one time and ended up being out of bounds on a pass that could have been a touchdown. We ended up fumbling the ball inside the 10-yard line. And then I think we might have missed a field goal or something. I mean, we had some of the wildest stuff each and every playoff game. I talked a little bit about the Rock Creek game and the ups and downs and everything that was chaotic during that deal, and then got to play Scott City, which we lost to earlier in the year. We lost to them 9-0 at home, and did not play exceptional on offense by any means. Went to their place in the playoffs, and I think we were the only team that scored any points on them in the fourth quarter. And so we actually kicked a field goal to take the lead by 3, and that ended up, how we won the game, kicking a field goal there in the fourth quarter. And so just all of it was a major roller coaster. And we talk about some of those memories and moments that group of kids got to create for all of us. And I'm in a group chat with the seniors and every year, and they still send funny stuff that happened, last year. And it was a really cool moment for everybody involved.
When you get into those crunch time moments in close games at the high school level, what have you noticed? And maybe there's nothing that's, can be duplicated, but what have you noticed is key to making those plays at that high school level? Have you noticed anything that stands out? Like, okay, this is why we were able to execute?
Man, it's a great question. I would just say the more time that you spend around a group of kids, I think you find which ones are truthfully like just bought into doing everything that you ask. And so I mentioned that a couple of times. We had that really good group of seniors last year, and very unselfish. We had a lot of kids that could have been, troublemakers for us in terms of maybe not seeing the ball as much as they would like, or doing things, other things. And it was never about that for them. It was, they wanted to win at all costs and do it whatever was asked of them, in whatever capacity that they could help the team. And so I think when you have some kids like that, it just makes it really, really special. I think we went through some humbling moments throughout the year. We lost early to Cheney, pretty bad. I mean, it wasn't ever close, and we had a pretty disappointing loss, and had to go through that week 1, and then you battled through a couple of league games, and then we played Scott City and played really bad on offense, and had another humbling learning experience. And so I think it's a mix of having really good kids, buying into it and being unselfish. I think having the right idea of we're going to try to help the team and be as best as we can for our group of kids. And I know that's kind of a vague statement, but I truthfully believe it made those special moments.
When you get into those rock fights and then you're going into the fourth quarter in a tight game, whether you're down or you're up, what have you noticed as far as your coaching philosophy? Are you going to go, like, as far as your playbook, are you going to start leaning on the plays that have been successful already in the game? Or are you trying to find something different, but maybe, hey, this defense hasn't seen, as far as how you can move and execute?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of both. We usually try to start the drive with something that they haven't seen before, in terms of whether it's just a formation or a motion or things like that. I think everybody has kind of a base set of scheme plays that they're going to stick to. And so that was something in the middle of the year that we had made a decision as coaching staff. We had to get better at something. And so we went to war with what we call tank. It was a tackle trap deal. And we went to war with our next few practices of getting a lot better at what we call tank. And down the stretch, you try to run with things that your kids are comfortable with, and put the ball in your better kids' hands and let them be athletes for a reason.
By the time you get to that point of the playoffs, Coach, like, how many plays are available, at least for Holcomb? Like,
no.
Because there's a point, I guess, of like, maybe expanding the playbook too much, or try to keep things simple, but about how many plays are available at that point of the season?
Yeah, wow. They give me a really hard time for this one. We're a spread offense, and we use a lot of formations and motions. And so the verbiage sometimes becomes a little bit too long. But I think one of our players counted when we played, I don't remember exactly who it was, but I think there was about 600 different possibilities of us running a play on the call sheet. And so we have always probably been overboard on how much we do. We've actually tried to slim back this summer, and thought that we have always probably been overboard. So for us, man, that's funny that you bring that up. They give me a really hard time for some of that stuff.
Well, as far as formations, how many like plays do you want in a specific formation? So that way, okay, hey, if we line up in this formation, they know exactly what play it is going to be. But if we have, 9 or 10 different plays out of that same formation, how important is that for you and Holcomb?
Yeah, for us, it's every formation almost. We can run every single base run play that we have out of it, and so we go to war with a couple inside run plays, a couple outside run plays, and then we do a short pass game, a screen game. We call it a 50 game, a little bit longer, and then we have a pretty nice series of sprint outs. And so all of it. I mean, there's times when we'll run sprint outs out of every single formation. We'll run plays out of every single formation. They all have their own little twists to it and things like that. And we're a little bit different with how we call things, colors, our formations, and so we're a little bit different in terms of what that looks like. But I mean, we'll run zone to death, and we'll do it out of every single run, out of every single formation.
Coach, appreciate the information and your time, and best of luck this season.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and really appreciate you getting this going. I think it'll take off. I think this is going to be a pretty neat deal. So thanks for having me on.
We'll be following the Longhorns. Appreciate it. That's Trey Teeter, head coach of the Holcomb football team. We'll take a break. More Kansas sports chatter right after this.